Good morning, guys. Welcome to this Monday, December 22nd, Christmas week. So we have we are finally here, Christmas week. We're talking about it all freaking year, but now we're here. So we have 2 weeks ahead of us where the stuff happens in the middle of the week, New Year's and Christmas. The Christmas Eve is 24th, and it's a half a day early close. And Christmas Day, Thursday is closed, and then Friday is a regular trading day. So it's really a day and a half in the middle of the week. But you can probably count on a lot of people bugging out and just not kind of hanging around when it's like that. Especially Friday, I think a lot of people are going to be gone on Friday. So these first 2 days, we do have a little bit of news coming out. On Today we had 8:30. We had Chicago Fed National Activity Index. Chicago, it's listed twice. Yeah, so one piece of news this morning, and that's about it. Tomorrow we have durable goods, GDP, industrial production, consumer confidence, new home sales. Again, a bunch of delayed on them. I never know if that delayed is going to be in a report or not, but I'll just assume they're there until I don't see a number come out. So at 8:30 we get durable goods, GDP, corporate profits. 9:15 we get industrial production, consumer confidence at 10, new home sales at 10, but that's tomorrow. Wednesday the 24th, durable goods durable goods shows up again at 8:30, and jobless claims. And that's Christmas Eve. Now some people celebrate Christmas Eve, so it's a half a day there, so and probably going to be very light volume on that day. So we're in for light volume trading. The good news though is I think we have a Santa rally going on. It's like I never thought I would see like anything happening when it came to that. It felt very much like that whole thing's going to elude us. But now it's starting to feel like, yeah, but as of Friday, still pop up. They traded up here. Surprisingly strong on Friday, given that it was a Friday before the holidays. But maybe they are done with all the tax selling, and we'll see a few days of a little bit of Santa rally going on here. Anyway, so we started off to the upside in the overnight, and that was the analysis from Friday. Given that the way they were, the way the Friday was ending up, and Friday never pulled back. There was no real little back off and a profit taking going into the close. So I was very much encouraged by that, and then the market gapped up into today's trading. So hey, maybe we got a Santa rally going. I'm gonna hope for it. But we'll start off on the long side, we'll start off primarily range band, but I would favor the long side. I'll start with a slight bias to the long side. I would look to buy against these areas 6,900, 69, or 68.95, and the 68.85. You see that mode? It's still skinny bar there, skinny range. At the right again, that mode on Friday. And last one I would look to buy against is going to be that 68.80. So these levels of support. We're going to buy against those. If this trade below that 68.80, we are solidly back in that low range again, and this whole thing did not work out. But it could certainly back off. I mean, so early weakness, at least the first three levels, I think, are pretty good. The last one would be done at that 68.80, and for rotations back up again. So those are the levels I would be looking for. If they trade back in that lower range again, unless they start taking out these areas below the 6800s, I'm not going to worry about the short side right now. The first part of December is always marred by that tax loss selling. And I thought it was going to be like the first couple of weeks, but they were dragging into that third week. And I figured like, well, maybe the Santa rally is not happening after all. But now it's a little bit more on the positive side, I think. And I will see how this whole thing shakes out at the end of the year and going into next year. But these next 2 weeks, don't expect the same type of trading as you had prior. It could be some volatility, it could definitely be some range, some action going on, but expect range bound trading primarily. Right now, starting off this week, I would lean towards the long side, at least to get started, to see if that Santa rally is for real or not. And you'll tell, because if they just back off this overnight and run it right back down into that lower range and doesn't go anywhere, then you can just write off that Santa rally from the get-go. But right now, Starting off range bound with a bias to the upside. It's more than just looking for early weakness. I think we have a good opportunity for taking this higher. So looking to buy against 6,900, 68.95, 68.85 rotations up. The last one to buy against is 68.80. Or look for buying opportunities against, and then we'll see how far they and if they take out the 68.8, as I said, we are back on the lower end of the range. On the short side, the short opportunity at 69.15, I think they've taken that out. The next one is going to be up here at the high 69.30 and then the 69.50s. So I would say they take out this area here, the 69.15. I think we are solid there on the long side of this. And right now they're trying. Looks like they're trying to take it out, but they're not quite there just yet. So last one to get short against, I would say, is the 69.30. After that, I would not be very aggressive on the short side. If anything, I would look for intraday shorts, right? You know, even if they run it out against above obvious resistance areas, they could certainly be short when they back off and back off and retest and so on and so forth. But I would not be very aggressive on those. I would not look for a bigger trade. If you're looking for a rotation back to the mean kind of a trade, I would look for at 69.15, which we are almost taking out now, and the 69.30. Those are the two levels I would look for. All right, so that's how we get started. Christmas week. If you look at the volume right now on the ES, we are at 89. It's a little bit lower than normal, like 800,000 usually around about there. So what we have on normal days. A little bit on the lower end of the range, but you know, some people are going to be taking this whole week off. No such thing for us though. So that's the ES on the Nasdaq. On the Nasdaq, also a pretty strong move. They gapped up, strong close on Friday. To my surprise, I had to say, I was expecting more of a range bound sloppy Friday, but the fact that they just traded right back up to the upper end of the range, they just did not want to back off. Started us off on the long side, and then the gap up here going into today's trading, and the fact I haven't retraced that yet. Again, Santa rally potential, yeah, maybe. They're up against this volume edge. You see that 730 volume edge, and they're right up against it. And if they can take that out, I think the next hurdle is going to be that 850, 860 for that edge, and that's our hurdles today to take out. If they take those out, I think we are right back in the Santa rally mode for sure. Right now, I'm going to be looking. I'm going to start off range bound with a bias to the upside, looking to buy weakness against the 680s. Yeah, 680s, 630s, the 600s. The mode from Friday 570 against the 540s, against that lower edge at the 500s. They trade below the 500s. I think we're right back in that lower range again. So that would be taking out. You see that congestion area. I can start marking those up a little bit there on these F1s. Could be helpful. But you see this whole area in the middle here. That's your 500 area, 500 to 550. If that comes out, we're going to be right back down in that sloppy area we were at before. But right now we have a potential move out of the middle to the upside. I would not quite call it that just yet, because this whole area, you can argue, is still part of the same distribution. If you start folding that back together again, I'm keeping it split out so that I get some better visual on it. Yeah, but starting off, looking to buy weakness, 680s, 630 to 40s, 600s, the 570 mode from Friday, the 540s down to the 500s for rotations back up. And on the way up, the 730s, 800s, and the 850s. Now the 800s are going to be halfway up there. I mean, we have an edge here. I would not be that super aggressive on that 800 level. It's been there since before. There's probably something going on in the middle there, but on the F1 you can pretty clearly see here that 730 volume edge, right? That comes out. That's the key area to lean against. The 860s, 850, 860, that nice 4-letter edge. Not a lot of volume up there, but definitely they stall at that area. So they're defending that 850 area. And so that's one is the last one I would look for a short opportunity. They clear that area, I think we are on our way higher. So we'll see how good of a day this is going to get. So maybe hopefully all the tax loss selling is behind us, and the market is now in the mode of buying back some of these stocks, maybe resetting some of these positions going into next year. So that's the ES and Nasdaq, both range bound, starting off on the long side. Uh, let's see if they can make something out of this little strength we're seeing in the overnight. I remember the last few days, last week, we've been seeing that overnight showing up some strength and then just hammer it in the day session. So that is what we're looking for, if they're going to knock that thing down or not. And if it doesn't, yeah, we got the Santa rally. But if they do, well, then we're just back in that doldrums again. And then finally, bonds. Bond market. Oh, back down a little bit. They are just flopping around in that range as we have been. And they just have to look for those opportunities. You can see we're still trading in that between these two high volume areas, filling that low volume area out. But it's like that 115, 20 to 25 low volume area is what's this, we kind of we're watching right now. So they're filling that out right now. We get a tractor up on the upper end is 1625. Lower end is 114 or 116.25 to 117. The lower end is 114, and that's the range we are trading in. It hasn't really changed. And what I'm looking at on the bonds is just the big where let it set the directions. Let's set the outer edges, figure out what's going on the bond market, and then set up your trade. It is one, maybe two trades is kind of what I'm seeing good setups for during the day. That's not much more than that, given the way I'm trading it. So I'm looking at an outside in type of a trade. I'm looking for the opportunity, but there is no rush to get on it. It's like if it doesn't set up the way you want it to set up, there's no rush to get in. Because the bond market is massively unforgiving when it comes to that. You get stuck, you just don't get let out, and that's it. Usually you get an opportunity to get let out if it's moving, but if it's a slow day like that, you can just find yourself twisting in wind for a while. But there's not much going on right now, so I'm going to be just watching that for a little bit of caution. So that's how we get started this morning. Range bound trading on the bonds. They're going to buy against that 1430 down to the 1416s. They're going to sell strength 1505s, 10s, 1516s for rotations back down again. So 3 levels up. 2 levels down. There's a little bit of a gap in between here, so not much to say about that gap. But you can see that there could be something down here a little bit below that 26, but it's just getting a little bit too crowded. But I can do this, just to make that a little bit easier. I can just mark it a little bit differently. If I do that smaller edge there, that's one of the edges, and you want to kind of march this guy right there, right, like that. That's your ledge from a few days back. So you're buying opportunities against the 15s, the 1426s, and the 1416 to 18s could certainly be doable. So those are the levels. So the 3 levels up, 3 levels down. Pretty non-aggressive trading on the bonds right now. All right, so that's the bond market. Looking back to the ES and the Nasdaq. As I said, not a whole lot of news to drive the market today. Just the Chicago Fed National Activity Index coming out at 8:30, and that's about it. Alrighty, guys, we'll wrap it there. So good trading. It is Christmas week, so just be mindful. Volume is going to be to the light side. Could be some volatility going on. And just don't forget your Christmas cheer, don't forget it. So good trading, and I'll see you back at 11:30 for the next update. Later.